Hey, everyone! I'll assume I'm live because the red button is done. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome again for another Mindful Conversations Francis Chats with a special guest today. She is an amazing lady. I have just met her, but I've been stalking her profile and her website, and she's amazing. She's making such a huge change on her client's life. And I'm just so glad and happy for that person who actually introduced us. So shout out to Pedro. Thank you. So another version of our another session of our chats where we talk with amazing entrepreneurs, know their stories, their life, their expertise, their business, and just see the human behind the brand. So, our guest for today, please help me welcome. Oh, wait, if you're watching this live, please say hi in the comment section. We are streaming on my profile and in my group. So, guys, if you are here, please say hi in the comment section. I want to know who you are, where you're from, and take notes, listen, and share your comments. And if you have any questions, I would bug our guest to answer it. And if you're watching this on replay, please put hashtag replay and I would also I want to know what your thoughts are. So, without further ado, please help me welcome Charity Golden. She is the founder and owner of Magical Universe Coaching, YOU. So, please help me welcome our guest. Hi, Charity. Where are you? Oh, there
Here
you
I am.
are.
Hello, hello. And hello everyone out there.
uh, somebody like I've said come and learn because I have this special lady who's gonna share so much value and I have tried to bring value whenever I do this. So number one, thank you so much again for doing this with me.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to learn. But before anything else, I got a short introduction that I did. Can I ask, number one fun fact that not much people know about you, and please tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Charity Golden. I'm a coach. I'm a certified magnetic mind coach and founder of Magical Universe Coaching. And fun fact, uh, you got me. I feel like everybody knows everything about me because I share everything almost. You know what? I have an addiction to McDonald's breakfast. I don't know what it is, but like it's a vice. It really is a vice. I can't help it, and I love it. So props to McDonald's for their breakfast. And
So
that
funny.
totally is not in alignment with my health and vitality and fitness, but it makes me happy.
I think that's a powerful thing there though. It makes you happy and if you
Hmm.
don't you don't eat it every day, I
I
think that's
do.
fine. You do.
Lately,
You
I
know
do.
people, she said she does because I
Yeah.
have this people know me about this every Tuesday I walk for KFC. There's this Toonie Tuesday here in Canada, so just reminded me of it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We love what we love. There are worse vices. Believe me, I've had them.
Oh my Lord, then we will talk about it
Yes.
today, just
Yes.
a little bit, whatever you
Yeah.
want to share.
Absolutely.
So tell us you're in the States right now, right?
Yep. I live in Indiana, the U.S. I am, like you, Filipina. I'm very proud of that. Half Filipina. And I basically I was born in California on a naval base. My parents were military, and shipped out about 16 weeks old to the Philippines, and went back and forth in my youth and lived there for a little bit. Went to school, and then since my mom was military and my parents were divorced, I moved around a lot. So that's a lot of what gave me my structure for who I became, because I was never in one place for very long. So I kind of moved around a lot and never stayed anywhere longer than 2 years until I was in high school. I went to three different high schools, and now I finally call Indiana home. This is where I had my babies, and I'm a Hoosier now. So
That's amazing. Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. So, I've had some friends who are um kids of military
Hmm.
US force military, and I
Yeah.
actually have a cousin who married a military guy. I understand that it must be hard as a child to be moving around and get uprooted all the time.
Yeah, it was a lifestyle though. For me, I didn't know any different. So I really like as you said before we started, you heard that post where I share my story. I never felt like I had a home. I didn't have roots. And I come from a family, like a dysfunctional family that wasn't very rooted also. And so on both sides of my family tree. So moving around a lot was fine with me. Sometimes I'd be somewhere 2 weeks, 6 weeks, a semester, and until I found a place that I called home, and that was hard for me. When sophomore and junior year, when I had to move my senior year, that definitely was a huge challenge for me at that time. And it kind of, my whole life changed and diverted in path. And instead of going to college right away, I ended up pregnant and married. And so it changed my life.
Yeah, I think, oh, that's amazing. Like, what I'm hearing is that this is a lifestyle. You don't know better. You don't
Right,
know anything else.
right.
Like, just like, well, I just grew up in one place until
Wow.
I was like able to go around and explore and
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
the contrast and difference. But if we don't know anything else, I think we don't really think about it.
Right, right, right. Until we're shown different, and that's actually just like my coaching, and I always talk about it as though the dysfunction and the abuse and all of the things that I grew up with and lived in my life, I didn't know any different. And so that was my normal. Chaos was my normal. Dysfunction was my normal. Pain, trauma. And the thing is that with even like with people that are getting into self-development for the first time, it's like when you're explaining, like when I explain my coaching, I feel like it's like talking to people who've only seen a pond. And I use this metaphor all the time, and trying to explain to them what the ocean looks like, right? And what the ocean feels like. And it's really hard to explain to someone who's only seen the pond the massiveness of the ocean. And it's the same way with the different kind of lifestyle and a freedom and creator perspective, is that you don't know any different, and to explain it to someone, it's so foreign, right? To someone like with if you would have talked to me when I was in my 20s about the things that I feel and do now, it would have been like me trying to explain to me what the ocean is, how massive and amazing and beautiful. Until, woo, you gotta love that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry,
Okay,
it's
I'll
not
just
do
take
not
my
disturb, but I have to say I have special people in my life that if they ring through, my do not disturb does ring through anyway. So I apologize for that.
no. If it's emergency and if it's
No,
important,
it's not
please
an emergency.
go.
It's my best friend.
I love best friends.
I can't wait to tell her she was on the podcast.
Hello, best friend.
Hello,
I just
Donna.
I'll just okay. We have like watching from British Columbia
Yes.
and watching live. Hello, Facebook user. I think I know these ladies. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Colette. Please get ready and what do you call this one? Let's take this ride. I don't know. My semantics is bad, but
Oh
please
no.
continue.
Okay. I think I lost my train of thought. Oh, it was about the ocean. So basically, it's just that you don't know until you know. You don't know until you're exposed to it, right? And that's the same way with so many of the things in our life. Self-love, I didn't have a lot of self-love. Growing up, I didn't have a model for that. So many, and if you don't have a model for it and you aren't exposed to it, then you don't know any different. So you just continue to repeat the patterns that you've known, right? And so that's all we do is when we know better, we do better. Things get better.
That's so amazing. Thank you because I'm just getting already like value bumps in this. There's boo boo
Yes.
boo because honestly I just learned. I mean, I think I've known about like well I've heard about self love,
Yeah.
about like like you're powerful and everything's been thrown all over social media. Even
Hmm.
I've got like amazing women mentors in my life even before coaching and mentorship is a thing even
Yeah.
before in the Philippines and stuff but with the word manifesting what you really wanted, like those kind
Yeah.
of words. It was kind of new to me, and it's actually my mentor who connected us is one of the people
Yeah.
who kind of like drilled that, like, okay, it doesn't have to be the same, because he knows also of my whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, as you said, it's like I'm just seeing a pond,
Yeah.
and there's an ocean of possibilities
Yes, an
around
ocean of
us.
possibilities. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what the things that we happen to us, or the things that happen in our lives. One of the things I like to touch on is with especially with my coaching is that you could become empowered when you take responsibility for your life. When you take responsibility and ownership of all the things that was created in your life. Like bad things can happen to you, but what you decide to do with it, what meaning you assign to it, and how you identify with it and carry that with you the rest of the time, and your healing is your responsibility, right? So that's what gives you your power back when you look back and say, okay, what was the role that I played in it? And sometimes the only role we play in it is how we took it with us and how we assign a meaning to that. Well, that means something like for me, the abuse in my early childhood, I took it on to mean that I'm a victim and I am victimized, and that's my role. Whereas my sisters who were in the same, same family, same household, they took it on to mean I'm a survivor and I'm strong. And so it's amazing how it's your experiences don't necessarily mold you. It's just it's how you take those experiences, and there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Oh my gosh, yes, I understand that. The thing is, it's easy to think of ourselves as victims.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then I think, now that I'm kind of like understanding the coaching world, that it's like a
Hmm.
space where somebody could actually guide your hand and take your hand, and then,
Yeah.
but while you're in a situation, is it bad to assume that it's hard to look at it on an outside perspective, like how you said, how you could actually change your mindset,
Hmm.
change your, like, because you are in the thick of it.
Yeah.
How did it happen
I
to
used to
you? Like,
get
what
mad when
started?
people would tell me, "What, you just want me to change my mind?" I mean, I had mental health issues, I had addiction issues, I was in an abusive marriage, like twice, and that last when you're in it, it's like you just want to. You don't tell me just to change my mind, like I can flip on the wipers, but the thing is, it really is about changing your mind and your thoughts and your perspective about things, and looking about at how things are serving you, because at all times whatever we're doing is the best we can do with that situation at that time with what we know, right? And so like with my in my marriage, when I was stuck there and I kept going back, I would just kept going back no matter, I had a stroke, I went to jail, and I still went back. And it wasn't until I learned that it didn't have to be that way, and I saw other people living lives, other women I was in a recovery group, a 12-step program. When I saw them and was exposed, like we said, exposed to it, it made me question my own reality and why it was the way it was. And a lot of times it's about looking inward and looking at our mechanisms and why we do what we do. Not a matter of like placing blame or judgment on ourselves or anybody else. It's just a matter of ownership and responsibility, because that's where your power is. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like, I'm looking up because I'm like thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you, Colette. I was saying, loving this. I told you, girl, this
Oh,
is gonna be
good.
amazing.
Yay. So happy.
It's like, wow, your story is just like a couple of sentences that you
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
tells so much behind the backstory, and
Yeah.
like, how did you start to change? What made you change? Like, I mean, you said the 12-step
Yeah.
program, but
Yeah.
what exposed you to that? And
Well, really, I got my brain broke, and I couldn't trust my reality, and I knew something had to change. And I was, I and then I stepped into reaching out for help. I had been in therapy for years, but it's the teacher will show itself and reveal itself when the student is ready, and I had not been ready, and I was defiant, and my puppy. I have a sidekick. My puppy's in the background. And so, for me, it was a matter of I would hit a bottom, and then I would hit another bottom, and I would just dig a bottom, because when you hit bottom you can always dig a new one if you want to, and if that's what you is normal to you, right? But I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I got sick and tired of feeling broken. And the commonality, and this is something I talk about in my coaching, is that we usually think that the common denominator is something wrong with us. So we try to fix us, try to heal, just all these modalities, just always focused on the problem, and that we're a problem. And the truth is we're not broken. You're not broken. It's just your structure. It's your perspective. It's your mindset that is caging you in, because your perspective is basically your experience, your beliefs, your culture. There's all these filters that we experience life through, and it's about looking at those filters. So for me, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired and feeling broken. And that's when I found this coaching program. And this coaching program taught me that I could recode and rewire my brain, that it's like my brain is plastic, and that I could change not only like the way I feel, but the way I experience life. I thought my life was over. Had been on disability since 2013, something like that. And I went back to school as an adult to get my degrees. So that was a big deal to me, a big hard pill to swallow. I was, to go and get my psych degree to try and fix myself, and then move into my master's, and then become disabled. And so I adopted that. Well, I'm not able. I'm incapable. And that, along with the victim, right, that it just basically buried me. And I was like, well, my life is over. And then I found this coaching program that said it wasn't, said that I can create, and that I'm 47, so I have a good, hopefully 40 years to create. And that just opened up my world for me. It's changed my relationships with my children. My children have been estranged, on and off, my daughter on and off especially. And now I am rebuilding that. I've transcended the disability, and I have my own business. And as far as the mental health issues, I was in and out of the psych unit all my life. And I was always trying to die. And I haven't had a suicide attempt since 2017. Which doesn't sound like that long ago, but really that's a lifetime ago for me, with the way that I was in and out of the unit. And so it's really given me a new life. And that's why I started coaching, is because of what it did for me.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable and open in
Mm,
sharing this stuff, because I think I've met some coaches.
yeah,
Um, I know they have stories, but sometimes
mm,
they would gloss over
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And can I just ask? I have this when I get exposed to this
yes,
kind of world, which is kind of like not really that, what they call, well known. If it's not for technology, social media, I really
mm,
wouldn't have known about this. Like
yeah,
you could, like, there's this ways that you could actually be with, what do you call that one? Tap with someone, maybe get their guidance, and
yeah.
then yeah, like this universe. But there's one thing that's really curious. I just wanted to check, know what's your thought about this, where they said in order for us to change our life, like in the mindset that you
Hmm.
always have to feel happy.
Oh, I don't subscribe to that at all. I actually, and you'll see anybody that looks at my Facebook or goes on, I share my journey in the struggles as well, because that's a misleading and actually a almost dangerous idea to an expectation. We have a myriad of emotions, and all of there's no bad emotions. There's emotions that we don't like to feel as much, but all of them speak to us, and it's about that mind body connection and learning to relate to yourself, and allow those messages to come through. Your body is talking to you, and those emotions are talking to you. And it's also, something that I used to trigger me was that when people would tell me, feelings aren't facts. And I was like, yes, they are. I feel them. They're real. And they are very real and valid. But a lot of times what we're feeling, and this is getting into the work that I do, what you're feeling has more to say about your past, and your ego than it does about what's actually happening right in front of you. You may be having a conversation or an argument with your spouse, and really it's about this boyfriend from from when you were 15 years old, and something happened, and what it is that it triggers this memory and this response. And the thing is our emotions happen so quickly, and so that it's a subconscious thing, that it feels like it's automatic, and it feels like it's like unchangeable. But the thing is that as we change our thoughts, we change our feelings. The feelings and the thoughts and the memories are tied together, and it's a matter of gaining that perspective. And you can do that. You can actually we do timeline work, and we go back in the timeline, and we redecide what something means to us, and in that way we change the way we feel about the things that are in our immediate conscious awareness right now. So
That
that was a long answer to no. I don't think that everybody. It's not about being happy all the time and having rainbows come out of my butt and unicorns dancing around me. It's because that's just selling a lie. We're meant to feel in polarities by denying like grief or loss. That's a part of love, right? We won't feel the depths of love if we are safeguarding ourselves from grief and loss. If we're unwilling to feel those things and risk feeling those emotions, then we are cutting ourselves off from the polarity of it, of happiness, joy, bliss, ecstasy, right? And who wants that? I don't. I want to feel it all. I want to feel it all.
that thank you, because there's this. I'm so happy you said that, because I'm really just like having that conflicting thoughts about,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, because but I don't feel good today. but
Yeah.
but I guess I realize that it's just like how you decide what you
Yeah.
feel, but taking control.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
it's okay to feel the feelings and be in the feelings, but it becomes more a matter of talking to your feelings, letting your feelings talk to you so that you can move through them. The only way out is through, right?
Through them.
And what a lot of people, I think they call it spiritual bypassing, is what that is where you basically are, and I mean, I do meditate, but where you basically like have to be happy all the time, like or you're doing it wrong, and that just feeds that whole problem mentality. Or you're doing it wrong, you're manifesting wrong, or you must be not doing something right, and that's just not true. It's just not true. And that's why I share my story and share my struggles and my journey, especially with my clients. My clients have seen me cry, and that's because it is the journey. It's the journey through. The journey to inward, and then the journey outward.
It's just said, this is so good.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank
thank
you,
you. Thank you, Colette. Appreciate you.
He's like, going back. He said your work. Yeah, I saw this in your website, and
Mm,
there's this line like you said in the video about, say, like, we are all like, I don't know if I got this right. We are all like wounded children,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, with that line, I can't memorize the whole
Yeah, I
line, but
remember. It's that we're wounded. We're basically wounded children and living in a structure that we created when we were 4 years old. Because basically, what happens is we go through this human journey. It's just a natural thing where when we're in the womb, we have all of our needs met. We want for nothing. We are a pure divine spirit, and then we are born, and we experience our separateness, and that's where we get into this lack and this transactional way of living. And by in that separateness, we become wounded because we take it on personally, and this is just part of the human experience. And we form our beliefs of like how the world is when we're in those formative years, and it's like those become our subconscious filters. How the world is, how I have to be in it. I have to do this to get that. I have to behave in this way to get loved. I have to do this, and they become our rules for our existence. And what happens is that becomes our perspective and our filter, and we experience life through that. And that just our actions then reflect those beliefs and reaffirm those beliefs. It's this vicious cycle that we get looped into. And that's the part. It's all about structure. And when I say that, I mean that our problem oriented structure, our lack structure versus creative structure. And in the creative structure, you're not focusing on the problems. You're not focusing on healing, fixing, managing, or anything. You're focused on what your heart desires. And there's a totally different energy in that, right? And because when you're focused on the problems, that's what you're going to see. Your brain actually distorts, generalizes, and deletes information because we can't take in all of the things that our senses are taking in. So it's a mechanism for us to, for our brain does, that points to what's important to us. And if our focus, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if our focus is on the problem, we're going to see more of things that affirm that. And that's what we're going to get more of. But if we're focused on our desired reality and the feeling of that desired reality, the joy, the bliss, we're going to see things that affirm that. What you seek is what you get.
What you seek is what you get. Thank
Yes.
you. Welcome back, Colette. She dropped off and she said, I'm back.
Yay.
Thank you. It just, that something hits me hard because,
Yeah.
as you said, 4 years old. My
Mm-hmm.
kids are 4 years old and
Mm.
3 years old. So I have like this big light bulb moment
Yeah.
just right now because nobody can be a perfect parent. I
No.
am so temperamental.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
so,
okay.
but I just realized if you say that, I would love to actually help my kids have that foundation
Yeah.
that is actually better than what we have had before without
Mm-hmm.
knowing this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Wish me
Yes.
luck.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing too though is that it's that I've come to know is that realizing that everyone is on their journey. Every human is on their own individual journey. And what we want to do sometimes as parents is we were like, oh, I don't want them to go through what I went through. So we try to protect and we try to alter and manipulate what goes on and what they experience, trying to give them an outcome that we want for them. But what we do in doing so is sometimes when we keep them from the struggle, when we enable them to continue in certain patterns, like I had this with my son. My son's a recovering addict as well, and is that when we enable and we try to protect them, we keep them from discovering their own power, and they're
That's
powerful. Yeah,
that's so true.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have to keep that in mind because now it's like oh my gosh, how do I like because as you said, that's at 4 years old.
yeah.
We learned this formative years, and then we lose. Then the goal right now is what did you say again? You get what you seek, which
Yeah,
is
we say
really
another way is be it to see it. So,
be it
yeah,
to see it,
and what you seek is what you get.
and what you
Because
seek is what
whatever
you
you're
get.
looking for is what you're going to find. You're looking for problems, you'll find it. You're looking for love, and you seek it, you'll see it, right? So if you
Yeah,
believe, I have this firm. There's a belief is a huge thing in faith. Faith in what you can't see, because our external circumstances don't always reflect our internal world until it does. And that's how
yeah.
manifestation works. And that's what I mean by be it to see it, is that you get into the emotion of that end result. And the thing is that we think that a lot of times we think it's the money, it's the car, it's the house, right? But it's really not any of those things. That car, it's what does that car make you feel? It's the freedom, it's the joy, it's what does that house make you feel? It's the stability, it's the comfort. And so you can actually feel those feelings right now. Our brain, and we do a lot of visualization because our brain doesn't know any different. When we experience a visualization or a memory even, our brain fires up and lights up in the exact same way as if it were happening to us in real time right now. It knows no different. So that's what you're actually changing your body chemistry when you're getting into the emotion of the end result, and that changes how you feel, and you can change your DNA. You can manifest differently. You can express differently. It's just so powerful.
That's what you actually help people with your coaching, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to welcome. Hey, Marty. Thanks for jumping in live.
Hello.
Anyway. Oh, here. Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
Got it. So, do you think we focus too much on outcomes rather than the process to get there?
Absolutely. 100%. Awesome. Good point. Yes, I totally believe that. I believe, and it's part of coming from my addiction recovery program. There's we say progress, not perfection, right? And the thing is that, and there's another one. There's a saying that we say is your level of expectation is inversely proportionate to your level of serenity. So the more expectations you have, the more of the outcome, the lower your serenity, right? The higher expectations, lower serenity. But it's about letting go of the outcome. We can focus on it and say, okay, it's not about the car, it's about the feeling, right? And then when we notice that we can feel it now, it frees us up and it pulls us towards. So we're more inspired versus pushing against the waves towards what we want. And it's about letting go of how it shows up, allowing the universe to deliver it to you, but not having this expectation of how it's supposed to go, right? Those shoulds, we should all over ourselves, right? So when it's like putting in your GPS. Part of the program that we do is called lenses. And in this way, we put in the GPS, right? You put in the destination, right? And that destination but the route will reveal itself. And it's about enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, because it's not about the arrival. There is no better, right? We get into this trap of better, so we end up chasing the carrot all the time. It's just different, right? Different than now, because now is steps beyond where you were before. If you can look back where you were, like right now, 10 years ago, I'm in a place that I never thought possible, right? So it's about not limiting ourselves and allowing the possibilities and allowing it to show up in different ways, but getting in touch with the emotion of it. The emotion is is the powerful aspect. Does that answer his question? Does that answer your question,
Marty,
Marty?
that does answer your question. Anyway, hi Victoria. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks everybody who's still here. Any questions? Please take this opportunity.
Yes.
So we have Charity here.
Yeah.
I just want to say your journey is so
Mm,
amazing. Like it
thank
gives
you.
hope. Like I
Yes.
mean, for me
Good.
especially,
Thank
like
you.
I
Thank
have
you.
a loved one
That's
who I'm
why
actually
that's why I
yeah.
share it, because it's not that I want to because for me the dirt, the mud is just as beautiful as the flowers in the garden. Without the mud, I wouldn't have this beautiful garden that I now call my life, right? And that's how I see it. It's all connected. It's all a part of that journey. And I was actually I was telling you earlier I was going to share a part of my story that I hadn't shared yet, and I've been hesitating, and I don't know why, but when something's on my heart, I know someone needs to hear it. Like, and this work that we do is a lot of it is intuitive. You have a knowing. We're all connected. We're all divine, and we're all guided. And so I haven't shared this part of my story, and I was like, wow, I wonder why I haven't really shared it, because I kind of am an open book, and and I realized that I still carried shame about it. Or there was an aspect of me, my coach personality carried shame about it. And so in when I was 17, I mean, I had already been through abuse and had incest in my family and addiction. And when I was 17, I was raped. And I hope this doesn't trigger anyone. But I feel like it's very important when we have these experiences to share the hope and the strength behind in it and the story, because a lot of people just need to know they're not alone. And so but it took me years to come to terms with that it was that, because I had adopted this idea that it was my fault, and then that I did something, and I was like, it's on me. Well, I also ended up being raped in my marriage and ended up being disfigured from one of the attacks. And the thing is that it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't my fault, right? And that sounds contradictory to when I say take responsibility for everything. So when I say I take responsibility for my actions in those sense, is I take responsibility for how I said it was my fault, how I took on the meaning to mean something deficient about myself. And so this is another aspect of my story that I wanted to share, because like I said, I feel like it's on my heart to share, that somebody needs to know that, or maybe just needs to hear a different perspective of survival, and I suffered from PTSD, and I had all of these mental health issues, but I was always trying to I was stuck in survival mode. And that's what we do is we get into this fight or flight, freeze cycle. And so that's part of the work that I've done on myself is learning how to be present and know that I'm safe and having trust in myself. And I just felt like I that's an aspect of my story that I hadn't shared, and I crawled out of my shame closet years ago. That's what I call it. I crawled into a shame closet when I was 12, and I decided that nobody belongs in a shame closet. And so when I realized I hadn't shared that part of my story, I wanted to share it today because by me coming out of the shame closet, I'm saying you don't belong in one either. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. I'm so honored that
Thank
this
you.
is also the platform that you actually shared it. And I know my our guests right now
Hmm.
are just so blessed and
Thank
honored
you.
to also hear that. Gudrun, hi. Ashley, good morning. Hi, Gudrun. Hi. Lots of love and hugs to you, Charity Golden
Oh,
from
thank you.
Gudrun. I
Thank
hope
you.
I am saying your name right.
Thank you.
I don't want to.
I'm
Yeah,
taking
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
That that is so powerful. I
Thank you.
mean, um, I don't know if I even like growing up. I don't know if I really. Do you know how sometimes you actually feel like you don't really feel
Mm,
if you could really empathize and stuff
mm,
that it's just like um maybe just as you said how we have grown up, what has
mm.
happened, what are the things that has happened could make us go numb.
Yes. Yes, disassociated. I would disassociate and disconnect and go numb. And then, and then that's turned into my addiction issues of wanting to escape, run and hide. So, and I found myself in that pattern of wanting to numb myself out, especially when I lost my children to my first marriage. That was a trigger for me that just basically something inside me broke, and like my heart broke, and so that's when I really turned to the drugs and alcohol, and because I didn't want to be me, you know.
Mhm.
All of the mechanisms up to that point, all the suicide attempts and all of that was also a matter of me not me my lack. I had no self worth, and that's something that I had all of those things. I don't belong. I'm insignificant. I'm not capable. I'm not worthy. I need to be perfect, or I'm not worthy. And like I had all of those, and those are some of the core wounds when we talked about being wounded, the core wounds that we experience through our life. But we can take those wounds and turn them into wisdom, right? We can leave. We don't have to relive the trauma and take the trauma with us, but we can take the wisdom with us, and there's always wisdom to be had.
I think I got that. I saw that introduction video of you and the other two amazing ladies. I think the
Yes.
one of when you said wounds to wisdom, it kind of
Yes.
like jumped
Yeah.
onto me,
We
and
just
that
had a
makes
7 day
more sense.
workshop. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, thank you. Like as I said, I think I was numb, but I think I'm starting to feel again this past few
Yeah.
years. And thank you. I mean, you just gave me hope. And I'm sure everybody who will see this will just give the hope. And that's power. I think that's also taking responsibility of how you actually, what do you call that one? How would you react? How would you, what do you call, face those ones
Hmm.
now, even it
Yeah.
happened before?
Yeah.
Is that one of the like, it's one of the powers that we could step into right now at that point in
Hmm.
our life?
Yes. We have freedom of choice at every given moment. That's our freedom. Our choice our choices to react or respond to this life, and we live it from the inside out. We just don't realize it. We live it from the inside out. And I think as far as the numbing part for you, there I would say that getting comfortable with in practicing your emotions. We don't practice, we practice the negative emotions, the ones we call negative emotions, because they're so easy. They come to us.
Mhm.
They're like the tapes that play in our head. They reaffirm those beliefs. But how often do you sit and in practice, like in meditation and practice, what does joy feel like? What does goodness feel like? What does happiness feel like to me? Passion, bliss, excitement, inspiration, all of those things. And sometimes we don't even have the verbiage, right? We don't have the vocabulary of good. We have this vocabulary that tears us down. So at first it's a matter of saying, okay, what are the words? What are the words with the thoughts and the feelings, and feeding ourselves that, just like we feed ourselves food, we are what we eat. So if you're consuming these negative thoughts and consuming these negative things, like when I watch TV, I don't watch TV anymore, regular TV. I watch the ones where you pick the shows. There's no commercials, because if you watch the commercials, you'll find out and you'll get the silent message of, well, if you don't have the right job, or you don't have the right car, you don't have the right hair, and there's something, if you get this product, then your life will be better. But and that inherently says that your life is worse right now and not good
The
enough.
subliminal messages of
Yes,
commercials, which is so
absolutely.
amazing how they do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what consumerism is. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Victoria. Moon to wisdom. I love that. Excellent says, "This is gold." Thank you, ladies,
Oh,
for staying with
thank
us.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, so your business, like your coaching
Mhm.
and stuff, this is in person or in, well, segue this. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing everything. Yeah, this is in person or online?
It's all online, and I actually have a master class. I have a master class in university that I offer online. I have group coaching and individual coaching, and right now I have a program called the Next Level program that's finishing up in a couple months. And so I just put it out there, and that 7-day workshop now is available at my website for $47. So there's a myriad. Basically, if you want to start now, there's no reason not to. And you can start with that $47 like right now, and then if you like it, if it's, and I know you will, you can get into the group coaching. You can, and I'm actually offering any of the listeners here today a free session to do the rapid recode process, which is this process that actually shifted me into this whole thing. When I first saw it done by Christopher Duncan, that's who was my mentor and trainer. He's created the rapid recode process, and that's all about tapping into your subconscious. So I'm happy to. I'm excited. It's something that I love to do. So I'm offering it to your client or your people for free.
That is so amazing. I'm gonna drop the link. So everybody who's watching this live, I highly, 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 highly suggest. I think you guys saw this today. The value of that free call would be amazing. I will be dropping the, what do you call this one? The link. It's just that sometimes my Facebook gives an echo. And yeah, thank you for sharing that, because as you said, there's some a different kind of options of where
Mm-hmm.
people can start with
Yeah.
doing this, because I think, wow, you're the guest that whose journey has been phenomenal, that I think, like, I mean, I don't have to spill my guts, but you just gave me hope.
Oh,
I have
thank
a
you.
I have a loved one that I would have wanted to pray for, to
Yeah.
actually just step out of the something. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but as you said, every person have a personal journey,
Yes.
and we could just like join them. Like,
If I
so
mean,
for me, because I promise.
if it can work for me, and
Yeah,
what I've been through, then it'll work. Then it can work for you. So I'm just a walking testimony. So
which is so amazing. Thank you so much.
thank you.
So what is the next thing for your business for Charity Golden? What will be the next? Where do you see yourself in the next few days, few years, few months?
Actually, I'm interested in doing podcasts and interviews, and I love co-creating. So what's in my future is going to be a lot of collaboration. I love working with people and creating together. There's an energy about it and it inspires me. I continue to, grow myself, and I'm taking 2 courses myself right now, because coaches need coaches, and it's a continual process, right? You never arrive. So it's going to evolve. It's going to be a lot of the same things, but evolve in a way that I want to have a bigger impact, like on social media and in my YouTube, the TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. So that's growth is where I'm going.
Oh yeah, I will be. Are your socials in your? I just put the link of your website. So if yeah, everybody follow her. I'm gonna follow. I follow her. I'm gonna have to follow her on other socials. I
Yes,
saw she had
yes.
TikTok. I was like, okay. I was. My children always gets my phone, so
That's how it is. That's the
like,
way
oh my
of
gosh. But I
yeah,
don't want them
parents.
to have their own yet, so
Mm-hmm. I
I just
understand that.
let them. So guys, before I wrap this up, there's so much golden nuggets over here. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to end, but I want to
Oh,
respect
yes.
Charity's time and your time. We are already 1 hour and 45 minutes, not 1 hour, 45 minutes. I
Yes.
usually shoot this for, I usually shoot for 30 to 1 hour. So, Charity, thank you so much
Thank
for,
you.
your time. And everybody, if you have questions, please take this, take this chance to ask and love. Give some
Mm,
love to Charity for
thank
sharing
you.
with us everything. And yeah, so Colette, Ashley, Gudrum, Melissa, Marty, thank you so much. And if there's no more questions, I'm gonna give 1, 2, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, three, two, one. Anyway, Charity, I don't want this to end, but I know I have to. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing so much golden nuggets and even
Thank
sharing
you.
for the first time a part of your story that you haven't shared anywhere else. As I said, personally, I'm just honored and I've learned so much from you. And I'm gonna continue to learn from you in your different social media and your website. And I'm gonna have that call soon when I'm ready.
Yes.
And then,
Thank you.
any advice, any last words for our friends before I let you go?
Yeah, I think that it always comes back down to focus. What you're focused on is what you will create. So pay attention to what you're focusing on, and that's a big, huge step. The other thing I would share is do it ugly and do it afraid. That basically, just try it, just do it. You won't regret that, but you may regret the things that you don't give yourself a chance to try. So do it ugly and do it afraid. That's the only way to be.
I'm so 100% agree with that because I always do everything ugly and
No, you
messy
don't.
and messy. And I was like, just whatever. I'll just do it.
Just do
But
it. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's
Thank
so
you.
much going. Hello, Matt. Lucy. Anyway, oh, Helen. Oh my gosh. She's a friend from the Philippines. Helen
Oh,
partner. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard from her from before. You missed so much, but please do watch the replay. I miss you,
yes.
girl. I miss your partner. And yeah, thank you again,
Thank
Charity.
you.
Thank you, everyone. I hope we could do this again one day. I'll find
Yes,
some people to spread your word, share your podcast and everything.
I'd
Because
love
I
that.
think I really believe that they need to hear your story and
Thank you.
the changes that you could bring life to as much people as possible. I would really do that.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. So everyone, that's it for today for Francis Talks Mindful Conversations. Francis Talks with Charity today. And if you are an entrepreneur or somebody who wanted to change the world and want a stage where you could actually share it to new audience, do check us out. Check me out. Check me out. No, send me a DM and we could talk about it. So thank you again, everybody. And yeah, have a happy Wednesday. God bless everyone. Bye.
Bye.